we're not going to beat around the bush here. Let's get into the music as quick as we can. This is the Blarney Pilgrims.
You're in for a treat.
You're very welcome. We managed to record a set with Austral, a young band of travelling musicians.
Band of headers. They're just good crack. I mean, they light a room up. If you ever get a chance to be in the presence of this band, do it.
Yeah, go, because it's
a
awesome.
party.
Yeah.
They pull on techno, dance music. They're young. They're
cool. They look
energy.
good. They've got it all.
They do. So and listen to Dom squirm during this. There's a few lovely moments where he's, "What are the young people doing again now, Darren?" And I'm not young.
No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what we've got coming up. Quick word. Thanks again to everybody who's been supporting us and who's gone to our Patreon page, which is Patreon/Blarney Pilgrims, and given us the support. That's already started happening, and that's fantastic. Thanks as well to everyone who's just subscribed through other means. So please pass it around. Pass it on to your friends.
Yeah, keep the 5 stars coming. Like, I can't believe we made it into the new newsworthy. To be in there or even to stay in there is crazy. As I said, like we're a tiny 2-man operation. To be up there with the likes of those big headers is a privilege. So thank you for that, because you're the ones that make that happen by leaving us reviews.
Yeah. And with that, enough of us. Here's Austral.
Well, welcome. I suppose is the first thing. Thanks for taking your time out of your day to come and sit down with us.
It's an absolute pleasure.
So today we're mostly going to be focusing on Connor.
Oh, good.
That's
Good stuff.
You're in the hot seat.
So Connor, you usually live in Adelaide, is that right?
Adelaide, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
right.
there about nearly 10 years now.
So what's your story? What got you into this kind of music?
I solely have my grandma to blame for that, who's sat in the back of the room just over there.
Oh.
She's played trad for years and years and years. Got half of my family into trad music and dancing, and I was one of the ones that got hit with a trad stick, I guess. So.
Yeah, right. So what age did you take up? What instrument did you take up?
I started with the tin whistle. I would have been, maybe probably 7 or 8.
Yep.
Yeah, and I picked it up. Didn't do too much with it for a while, then I kind of got back on, started doing pipes and flute around 16 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So when you're 8 years old in Adelaide,
This was back in the UK.
oh, back in the UK,
Yeah,
right? So you're
yeah.
from the UK first.
Yeah.
So many kids playing tin whistle at 8. What was that? More of a just another reason for kids to go? He's weird.
Oh, pretty much. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't think I ever publicised that until I was, drinking age. You know.
I think it's a band of misfits. We're all misfits that play trad. Isn't that the way trad music happens? Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But who were the
That's
people
one.
who had the main influence on you?
My granny plays traditional flute. I'm playing her flute right now. It's a lovely, an old Ruddle and Ruse. It's about to have its 200th birthday.
Wow.
So she plays flute and whistle and traditional singing as well.
Yeah.
And tin whistle as well. And I was unlucky to be put in front of a set of Uilleann pipes. And they kind of got their teeth into me as well.
Funnily enough, for another man that just walked into the room, might have had something to do with that.
So I was lucky to find 2 really good pipe teachers in Adelaide who've taught me for quite a while now. Yeah.
And who is that who's just walked into the room?
It's Jack Brennan just by my left.
Uh-huh.
Bit of a pipe mentor for half of Australia.
So what was it? If you can put your finger on something like that, so what draws you towards something like the pipes? Because they're
I just always
incredible
thought-
but intimidating.
Incredibly intimidating, but I always just thought pipers were total rock stars.
Yeah.
And thought I'd chase that dream.
Uh-huh.
How's that going?
Oh, well, here I am, but
Exactly. Proof's in the pudding, huh?
sat in a bank in Port Arlington on a lovely Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, lights off.
With the lights off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
So what was the journey then? What age were you when you took up the pipes? I think you just said.
About 16, but I'd been, I kind of got into traditional Irish dancing as well for a while, which put me, kind of put me more into the trad scene. So I was kind of constantly surrounded by it for most of my youth.
Yeah. So then there's obviously a healthy trad scene in Adelaide.
Oh, decent enough, yeah. Which goes all right, yeah.
And then when did you guys meet as a band then in Adelaide? How did that come
Oh,
about?
Angus is probably better to tell this story.
Well, the three of us met through the trad scene in Adelaide, through the sessions, and we just decided, his 3 little like minds and wanting to play at festivals and get more of an opportunity to travel around and play. And so we formed a little trad band and took a few picks and then applied for some festivals. I think some of our first gigs were actually hitched on the back of your name on a program, isn't that right, Connor? Up at Woodford Folk Festival?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And who else, Connor? Who else were when you were a youngster listening to music? Who else were you listening to? What else were you listening to?
Aside from like local musicians, a couple of names that pop out with pipers, probably the likes of John McSherry, Blackie O'Connell, Paddy Keenan, Liam O'Flynn was a big one with Planksty.
Right.
Listened to a lot of Planksty when I was first getting into trad. So Liam O'Flynn, God rest him, was a really big influence. And John McSherry, like I said, I was lucky enough to get taught by him for a little while.
And so then, when you're starting to learn, I mean, at what point do you feel like you're able to start articulating a style for yourself? You know what I mean?
That's a really good question.
Because
I suppose that just comes from all your influences, listening and teaching. And I don't think there's ever a moment where you kind of sit down and say, "Oh, this is my style."
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a very organic thing. I suppose a lot of
comes out of the
musicians would
woodwork.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but that is something about the mystery of playing music is the sense that at some point something emerges that you're not conscious of. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's
Definitely
something
unconscious.
coming out of
That's how I'd put it. It just happens.
It's coming out of your being
Yeah,
what I
exactly. It's your upbringing, it's your lifestyle, it's everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
waxing some lyrical there, but
But
so
I'm
should-
interested in just
Yeah, go on.
'cause you're pretty young, right?
21.
And it seems to be at the minute a bit of a resurgence or a rise in younger people getting into the scene.
For sure, we wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for all of us kind of concurrently getting into trad music and thinking it's fun to sit at sessions till the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
So should we have another? Do you want to do another tune?
Will I get my pipes?
Yeah.
Do all bush
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. After talking about pipes so much, I feel
All
a bit-
right. You want to do Old Bush, eh?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep. Let's do Old Bush, bit of a pipe feature as well. So that's the didgeribone.
So you can't just say didgeribone. What's a didgeribone?
I'm glad you asked. Rhys, would you like to take us through your instrument there?
Yeah, well, this didgeridoo, it's in two pieces, so that just by changing the length, it changes the pitch, so that I can play it with whatever key these guys are playing in, or I'm playing on the guitar. But mostly it's just great for travel, because I used to travel around with 10 didgeridoos, all in different keys, made of wood, and they were heavy, and airlines would charge me a lot of money to take them overseas. So, yeah, it's really versatile. It's like a modern didgeridoo, I guess.
Yeah, right. While we're getting set up, you travel quite a bit. You busk
Yeah.
full time, pretty much, or
Yeah, I've been travelling the world for 14 years as a street musician, and particularly when I was playing around Ireland and Scotland, I would always find myself in pubs drinking Guinness, watching Irish sessions. And after a few years, I thought I should get involved in this a little, besides the drinking, maybe playing. So I just went down to Caity. Actually, they had an Irish school down there, and I did a bit of a dad lesson down there because it's sort of different style to what I normally do. And then I started going to the Last Jar in Melbourne on Wednesday nights, and that's where I met Caity and Angus. And me and Angus were talking, and he was saying how he'd like to blend Irish music with a bit of an Australiana feel.
Yep.
I told him how I played the didgeridoo, and he said, yeah, I'd like to try that with the fiddles and that. So we had a jam, and then I said, well, we should put some beat with this and maybe some guitar. And next minute, my whole one-man band setup was in his living room, and we were like,
And we
I
were
think we've
going
got something here.
full-blown bangers.
Yeah, we were doing bangers. And yeah, we've been playing ever since, what,
Yeah.
12 months now?
I think about, yeah.
Are we ready to hear a banger?
I think so. This-
cracking.
There's a sense incoming bangers.
So these are traditional tunes, but we've bangerized them.
talk about a banger. That's actually something I need to talk to you guys about. Is what's your philosophy on the bangers? Because it's what you do, right?
Well, bangers is like this new term that the kids use for like the techno and the dance music and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, those kids.
Yeah, and I'm always trying to make things more bangerish. And, so today we're playing acoustic, but normally on stage I run the didgeridoo through a lot of effects, wah pedals, octave pedals, pitch shifters, and then also on my guitar a lot of effects with octaves and wah-wahs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then on stage I play 6 different types of percussion, the bass drum, the tambourine, shakers, sub-drops, it's like a woo.
Sub-drops and tribe music.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it!
So, yeah, when we started playing together, my aim was to try and make the trad music more bangerish.
Yeah.
Because we want to play dance music. And
What's a sub drop?
so like you've got your kick,
You funky kids.
and you might do it on the end like a 1, 2, 3, boom, and it hangs forever, and it sort of changes heartbeats.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very bass heavy.
Got it.
It's one of those kind of stomach drops, and then
Yeah.
the drop.
Yeah.
So they're dance music sounds that I'm trying to bring into this trad stuff, and
Which is dance music.
That feel you got in there, right? We discussed it when we had a chat with Angus, but that drop, the other kind of drop with the build, the momentary pause, and then when it comes back in.
Yeah, I really missed my sub drop in that bit today.
I found that worked.
Yeah.
So what's the reception to that been? Because a lot of people look like they kind of, once they hear fusion or any type of messing with traditional, they're at. What's your take on it?
The three of us, Angus and Rhys and myself, have done a bit of busking around Melbourne, and we've had a really good response to it just on the streets of stopping people and having a couple of dance parties even. And it's just, and the other thing I love about it is that it seems to attract a lot of younger people like wanting to dance, because my experience with Irish music is like a lot of older crowd, and growing up that's what I sort of had, but yeah, it's like attracting this younger crowd of people, and I think that's really exciting for us.
I think that's a little bit, when I say it was uncool, that was a really rough way of saying it. I don't really mean uncool. But a lot of exposure you get sometimes is it's a slower set and it's beautiful music, so people don't engage with it in the framework of having fun, having a party. It's dance music.
Yeah, true.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of it's dance music, I should say.
It's hypnotic, I find. It's like a rave party in the way that sometimes the tune can go over and over and over again, and then you have the key change, and that's like the drop in dance music. And that's just the way, because I'm new to this. I've only been playing this Irish music with these guys for 12 months, so I've just sort of bought what I normally do, which is like reggae and country stuff.
It's funny because
my approach to them, and we've created some bangers.
Yeah, that's the fusion that's going on.
It's funny that's because I'm new to it as well, and I come from a techno background, and it's the transcendental state that draws me in. That's what. Now I'm appreciating. Because you're exposed to it, you end up appreciating more and more. But that repeat, that draw in, that key change. Because you build attention, and that key change answers it.
So Connor, those pipes, where do they come from? Where do you?
He's come from a man called Mark Donohoe, who lives in a little town just outside of Killarney, County Kerry in Ireland. So I saved up all my pennies for a few years. This is probably around about $10,000 worth of firewood sat in my lap.
And did you know when you were saving it? Like, did you know this was the pipe maker that you wanted to? Like, these were the pipes you wanted?
I just asked Jack over here. And he said, yeah, they're not too bad, so... Yeah.
We discovered Mark O'Donoghue.
Come on in.
The great thing about Mark is he's a great maker, but his waiting list, if you're a young person wanting to learn the pipes, is quite small, 6 months to a year, as opposed to some pipe makers you could be up to 10 years, So if you're keen to start the instrument, you've got the two things. It's a lovely instrument he makes, and the waiting time is short. So
you don't lose interest before you get them.
Yeah. As a result, because I've been teaching it for a long time, most of Mark's sets have been sold to my students in Australia.
Right.
The Irish haven't discovered him.
So you're his broker.
So, well, no commissions.
Yeah.
No commissions, but
Maybe after this
yeah.
podcast.
This hits the streets.
nice
yeah.
plug,
He's a great man, yeah.
Yeah, no, I made do with a little practice set that I got from for reference. Uilleann pipes are made up of like how many 7 reeded tubes, and the one that makes the noise that you heard just before is the chanter. So a practice set just has the chanter, the bag, and then the bellows where the air comes in. None of this stuff. None of the drones or the regulators.
Give us a demo of the sounds.
So
Yeah, because actually, like,
Oh,
for
good.
the
Yeah.
layperson, me.
Pardon?
I was going to say for the layperson. I pretty much mean me. How do they work?
yeah,
I
so
actually
the
never asked
chanter
that.
is, I mean, it's the same concept as a Highland bagpipe chanter. It's a stick with holes and it's got a reed in it that makes noise. You pump some air into a bag and you squeeze the bag, and the bag squeezes the air into the tube that makes the noise.
So the
And
pump
then-
on your left arm.
Yeah,
on
that's
your
a
right
small
arm is
bellows like you
feeding.
use. Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
got a little valve in here which takes air in. Pump it. There's a little tube just sat across my crotch there, which goes into the bag. And then you pump that, squeeze that, and do that.
And it
Yeah.
looks like a chicken dance
Pretty much, yeah.
in slow motion.
So then there's three drones set across my lap, which, well, you're only hearing 2 at the moment, but they make that noise.
I love that noise.
And then, so there's 3 regulators across here, which are effectively like a chanter, but they've been stopped with keys. So then you can open them with the, what would you call, like the heel of your hand.
Okay.
So you might be playing and kind of, oh god, this is going to be really out of tune, but... Very out of tune. They're not great, but...
What you're missing?
Noise is like that, but...
What you're missing from the just the visuals, yeah, it's you're playing one thing with the tips of your fingers, and then it's the actual almost wrist
Kind
of
of your
your
wrist, yeah.
is playing another part of the instrument. That's a trip.
It's,
It's a beautiful thing. That drone as well. That kind of that drone is always a sign that there's something about to happen. You know what I mean? Like there's a kind
Stuff
of like,
going
oh, here
down,
comes the
yeah.
drone. Something's
It's that kind of sit up straight. Something's going on. Clean your hair. Brush your
That's
moustache.
right.
Listen, listen here now.
yeah, behind your ears. Yeah.
Something's going on.
That's the one. I think
Yeah.
drones really
Yeah.
work well with dig. It's a really cool sound.
that was fantastic. So where are you finding tunes? Like, it's always kind of interested me that when I was younger, if you go to see like an old player or something, they'd say, "Oh, I learned this from the singing of Joe Heaney" or something like that. But of course,
well, yeah, there is still obviously a lot of that happening.
Aye.
It's an oral tradition spread, especially at festivals like this where we are now in Port Arlington. We get together with people we haven't seen for years and sometimes years, and share tunes that we've learnt within that year with one another. But then in the digital age, obviously you're getting tunes from all sources, from albums that you're listening to, from international bands, from local bands that you might have bought the CD from another festival, or YouTube videos or podcasts, I don't know. Let's see, maybe some people pick up tunes anywhere, basically. Wherever you hear a tune, you might pick it up.
Aye.
It's a real motley.
Yeah.
And these two write a lot of tunes themselves as well, which I think the best tunes we play, I reckon.
See, I was going to ask you about that. What's the process? We spoke about it, but I'm sure when in band, is it you write and you just see what works in the rehearsal room and then what works live? What's the process for you guys?
We mostly just go out on the street and these guys play tunes and I try and back it.
and yelling out keys halfway through.
Yeah, hey! And we just hang on for the ride, but if something goes well, then we might try it again one day. Eventually it might end up in the set list, I guess.
Yeah, it's a trial and error, I suppose. That's one of the beauties of playing all the time. If you go out busking, you can test it to a very wide audience, basically anyone that's walking past. See if it works or not.
So speaking of tunes, you've just released is it a single or a one song? An EP?
Much, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not really soon, not recently released, no.
Did Danny...
Yes, no, we just come up with a new song. Just the one song. It's a bit of a protest song that's adapted from an old mining union tune from the 60s. And it's been adapted for Australian context. It's a Scottish song. And
what's the song?
Pound a Week Rise.
Right.
Yeah, and Ed Pickford song. And obviously with a lot of problems to do with the environmental damage of the Carmichael coal mine going in up in Queensland. I found it quite an inspiring thing, so I adapted some of the lyrics, and it seems to be that history always repeats itself, so the same kind of ideas in that song are applicable, and just switched some of the context around. Yeah.
Is that something you can play today?
I'd imagine we can give it a whirl.
Because maybe we could... I don't have bouzouki.
Don't have the bouzouki then, no.
Okay.
I thought we were just going
to
to do some
Yeah, it's alright, we could just go out on another banger, you know.
Sure. One.
Yeah, cool.
Come all of you colliers who work down in those mines, from Scotland down to New South Wales, the Murray to the Tyne. I'll tell you all a story about a pound a week rise, and the men who were fooled by governmental lies. It's down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies, working in a dungeon for a pound a week rise. In 2020, just one more year to go, the mine workers' leaders to Adani did go. They said we work very hard, every day we risk our lives. We are asking here and now for a pound a week rise. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies, working in a dungeon for a pound a week rise. So up spoke Adani, and this they did decree: when that output rises, with you we will agree. We'll raise up all your wages, we'll give you all fair pay. We were once all miners, we worked hard in our day. It was down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies, working in a dungeon for a pound a week rise. So the miners all went home, they worked hard and well, their lungs filled up with coal dust from the bosom of that hell. The output arose by 15-18% and more. When 2 years had passed and gone, it rose back to your job. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies. Working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies. Working in a dungeon for £1 a week. What I say, don't believe a Darney when they say they'll give fair pay. They'll tell you to work hard and make that output rise, but pigs might fly before you see that £1 a week rise. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies. Working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies. Working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise. Down you go, down below, Jack, and you'll never see the skies. Working in a dungeon for £1 a week rise.
Fantastic. Right, so if anyone's listening to this, they're definitely going to be thinking, shit, gotta see these guys. Where can people catch you?
We're at Parks Hall, so if you want to keep warm.
You mean in general? Not
In general, for the listeners at home, for anyone in the room, you know where to find them.
Oh, you just have to check our Facebook, really.
yeah,
We chuck
Facebook,
stuff up
really.
there when we're playing.
Oh, yeah.
Play around Melbourne a bit on the streets, and
Yeah.
we've done the odd show here and there in an Irish bar.
Yeah.
And you've
Siobhan-
recorded as well,
Siobhan.
right?
Hey,
You've recorded?
we do have an EP.
We do have a little ramshackle EP that we made around a kitchen table above a Thai restaurant. So that was back in Adelaide quite a while ago, and
Get them
we're keen to
for
get
us.
another one out. Actually, I think it's in the
We're on
works. So we're gonna-
Bandcamp.
Yeah, we are on Bandcamp.
The EP is.
Yeah, and,
Austral.music.
Austral.music for Instagram and all of
They're
that.
hard to find.
Yeah,
You've got to scroll past all the hair metal bands and glam bands called Austral.
yeah, because Austral just means south. So
It's worth the
yeah.
scroll.
Yeah, we need more likes to get up the top.
Yeah, thank you. Give
There
us
you
a-
go. There's your call to action. More likes. Get on there, find them, throw some likes. Can we go out on a banger?
Oh yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
one of your tunes. Like,
I think we should do Throw Down, Her Down, yeah. This is one of the more recent kind of original tunes that
Yes.
the first of which Caity wrote and the second of which I wrote as well.
Katie, we haven't heard much from you today, but we're going to sit down
Yeah.
and just do one focusing straight on you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks for having
Yeah, cheers, this is great.
And thank you to our audience.
Thanks, audience. Yeah, I know, right?
So that was total killer. That who can bring energy like that at sort of 1 on a Saturday afternoon? I mean, that was 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
And as you can probably hear, there was a few bodies in that room. So that's a fairly kind of smallish room. It was chosen by design to kind of give us that intimate feel. And I reckon everyone in the band brought 5 people with them. So that room was just a...
And I brought both my friends too.
Yeah, but it was a hot warm mess of like gyrating bodies. I want to say, like, there's a little rave happening in here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone that came along. If you're listening to this, thanks to everyone else that's supporting us along the way. As Dom said at the top, go check out Austral stuff. Go to Bandcamp. You can purchase their stuff on their Bandcamp page, and that's the place to go because the funding goes straight to them. So you'll find the links to that in the show notes. You're probably on your device now. Have a look. You'll also find them in Dominic's blog, which I haven't spoken about yet. Dominic's blog over on the Patreon page. So Patreon/Blarney Pilgrims. There'll be a few extra little bits in there from Dom as well.
Nice one.
Good luck.
Hi, my name is Wilda. I'm gonna eat an apple. Please give Dominic and Darren 5 stars.